Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Roy Keane is right about Liverpool and Arsenal, but Jamie Carragher knows what comes next. When Hugo Ekitike fired Liverpool in front against Bournemouth, netting the first goal of the new Premier League season, it felt like Arne Slot's side would go on to win the game relatively comfortably. Andoni Iraola's side had done well to that point, but there was a sense of inevitability that once Liverpool had opened the scoring, it would find a way of doing so again. In the end, the Reds finished on 4 goals, 3 of which were needed to secure the points. If Liverpool is currently one end of the spectrum when it comes to attacking, free-flowing, play with a limited regard for defensive responsibilities, then Arsenal is the other. Mikel Arteta might have spent big on a number 9, but his first principles remain the same. It has been some time since Manchester United versus Arsenal was a genuinely exciting fixture, but coming on the opening weekend of the new campaign, it was a particularly dry affair. Defender Riccardo Calafiori netted the only goal of the game from a set piece, and while Manchester United managed 22 shots in the 90 minutes, there was only one Opta-defined big chance in the match that fell to Arsenal. For all that Arsenal has tried to address its limitations in attack this summer, it feels like there is still work to be done. The Gunners' players will have to get used to playing with Gyökeres as the focal point, Daniel Sturridge said afterwards, putting it kindly. Roy Keane was typically rather more withering. You never felt Manchester United had 2 or 3 goals in them. And even Arsenal getting the 1 goal, that's a worry, he said. You wonder why Arsenal keep coming up short. They're still happy. Enough to sit in at 1-0. Is that why they drew so many games last year? Keane added in his usual no-nonsense style. Compare them to a Man City or a Liverpool. They're always thinking, let's go and get the second. Even on a bad day with Liverpool, you think they will score 2 or 3 goals. That's the challenge for Arsenal. For the first day of the season, their sharpness will improve. Saka, Odegaard, Rice. I think there is a lot more to come from them. But you take the win on the first game of the season, and obviously a clean sheet. Having gone big to sign Gyökeres, the so-called final piece of the jigsaw at the Emirates Stadium, the pressure is on Arteta to deliver. But his team's performance at Old Trafford was far from convincing. Last season, Arsenal conceded 7 fewer goals than Liverpool across the 38-game campaign. But Slot's men found the back of the net 17 times more often, which ultimately made the difference in the title race. Arsenal is a primarily defensive-oriented team and chose to hold what it had against Manchester United. Liverpool did the complete opposite at home to Bournemouth. The right approach lies somewhere in between, but it is easier to tighten up a leaky defense than it is to inject more goals into an attack. Manchester City, meanwhile, got off to a flyer by beating Wolves by 4-0. Pep Guardiola's side has Erling Haaland, of course, but it started with Omar Marmoush on the bench and Phil Foden not even in the matchday squad. Tijani Reinders was excellent on his debut, and while Rodri is currently sidelined, Manchester City looks to have lots of depth. Wolves might not be the best barometer of where a team is at after a difficult summer, but Guardiola's men impressed. Elsewhere, Chelsea was only able to take a point at home to Crystal Palace, proving it is far from perfect. It is also the likeliest team to be negatively impacted by playing all the way through the summer after it won the Club World Cup. For all that no squad in the Premier League is perfect then, and things could still change in the transfer market. Before the September 1st deadline, there has been no evidence in the first round of games that Liverpool shouldn't be confident. As Keane said, the Reds are likely to score goals. The big question is whether Slot can find the right balance at the other end, with Jamie Carragher having been vocal about the weakness shown on counterattacks. When he challenged Slot on how easy it was for Bournemouth to slice through his midfield. On Friday, the Liverpool head coach insisted that his team would continue to play the same way. The hope then must be that better decisions are made, and that the return of Ryan Gravenberch from suspension can make a substantial difference. You would back Liverpool to be able to improve, though, and regain control, having done so last season, and Manchester City, it seems, has successfully bought the right players to get back into its groove. Over to you, Arsenal, to show that you have enough attacking intent and ultimately goals to keep pace. Liverpool transfer news live. Alexander Isak latest, Mark Guehi plan, 25 minutes agreement. Arne Slot's side have been busy in the summer. Market with a revamp seeing wholesale changes made at Anfield. Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike have been key arrivals for the Reds, while Trent Alexander-Arnold and Darwin Nunez have left the club for Real Madrid and Al Hilal, respectively. Liverpool are not done yet, though. Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak remains a target, and with the clock ticking down until the end of the summer window on September 1st, his future remains uncertain. Mark Guehi, the Crystal Palace captain, is also admired by the Reds, and a busy summer of outgoings could continue with the departure of Harvey Elliott. The opening weekend of the Premier League season is almost over. Arsenal run out 1-0 winners against Manchester United. It wasn't the best game from both sides. Liverpool, as it stands, look set to go into next week's encounter against Newcastle in fourth. Everton's trip to Leeds United concludes the weekend tomorrow. Liverpool transfer signs promising it wouldn't have taken long for it to have dawned on Hugo Ekitike the size of the club he has joined in Liverpool. The 79-minute signing from Eintracht Frankfurt was barely 12 hours removed from being confirmed as a Reds player when he was paraded in front of 25,000 supporters last month. The fact that such a turnout for an open training session came in Hong Kong's Kai Tak Stadium, some 6,000 miles away from his new home on Merseyside, will have been quite the eye-opener for the France Under-21 international. Ekitike flew into Hong Kong fresh from completing his medical for Liverpool in late July and was introduced to his new teammates on the pitch of the Kai Tak after they had finished their session in front of supporters on the eve of their pre-season friendly with AC Milan. Doak set to complete Bournemouth transfer. Ben Doak is set to complete a 25-minute move to Bournemouth after Liverpool reached an agreement over the weekend. The Scotland winger had been wanted by a string of clubs, including Portuguese giants Porto, West Ham United, and Wolves, but talks accelerated with the Cherries on Friday. And now the Echo understands Doak is wrapping up the formalities of the move and is on the cusp of confirming a permanent transfer to the Vitality Stadium in a deal worth $25 million. 3 years after the Reds brought him to Merseyside from boyhood club Celtic for around $600,000. Doak made 10 senior appearances in total at Anfield and spent last season on loan at Middlesbrough, where he impressed with 3 goals and 7 assists before suffering an injury in the second half of the term that curtailed his campaign early. Alisson Becker admits Liverpool face a huge challenge in trying to adapt to a summer of change in the transfer market that has seen 8 players signed and 7 leave. The Premier League champions kicked off the defense of their crown on Friday night with a 4-2 win over Bournemouth in a game that featured 4 new starters in Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, Florian Wirtz, and Hugo Ekitike. The Reds also confirmed the 26-minute addition of Giovanni Leone before the game and had 29-minute goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili on the bench, while Arne Slot has also bolstered his shot-stopping ranks with the captures of Armin Pexi and Freddie Woodman during the window. Talks opened with Crystal Palace over captain Mark Guehi last week, while Liverpool will move if given encouragement. From Newcastle United for a potential British record move for Alexander Isak. Mark Guehi to Liverpool latest, speaking on NBC Sports. David Ornstein has explained his understanding of Mark Guehi's transfer situation. Liverpool have held initial talks over doing a deal with Crystal Palace in the final weeks of this summer window, but the defender could easily stay and see out his contract at Selhurst Park before moving for free next season. Giovanni Leone, training plan. Giovanni Leone looks set to join up with Liverpool first-team training after completing his 26-meter transfer from Parma ahead of the weekend. We'll train. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, it's a nice week to come into the group. Arne Slot could be heard telling his latest signing in a video the club published to Instagram today. The head coach added, "We have quite a long week towards Newcastle." Liverpool are interested in Brentford central defender Nathan Collins, claimed the Daily Mail, and they have competition from Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. The 24-year-old was named the Bees captain this summer, having arrived from Wolves 2 years ago in a 23 euros deal. He has 4 years left on his contract, so they are under no pressure to sell. He has started this afternoon for Keith Andrews' team against Nottingham Forest. Darwin Nunez shows his true colors after Liverpool transfer exit to Saudi Arabia. Darwin Nunez has been engaging with his former Liverpool teammates on social media, celebrating their 4-2 Premier League victory over Bournemouth. Nunez sealed a move to Saudi Pro League club Al Hilal earlier this month. The forward was known for his knack of finding the net against the Cherries during his time at Anfield, tallying 4 goals in 6 matches against them. This figure stands as the most he's scored against any single team, with Nunez also bagging 4 against Southampton, though in 2 fewer encounters. In Nunez's absence, Hugo Ekitike kicked off the scoring, followed by Cody Gakpo's contribution to extend Liverpool's lead. Despite an Antoine Semenyo double, Federico Chiesa and Mohamed Salah secured the win for the Reds. Nunez showed his appreciation by liking Salah's Instagram post, which featured the Egyptian star performing Diogo Jota's shark celebration in the first image. Moreover, Nunez reshared a post from Liverpool's official account that highlighted a special mosaic tribute across the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand and the cop for Andre Silva and Jota. Despite an Antoine Semenyo double, Federico Chiesa and Mohamed Salah secured the win for the Reds. Nunez showed his appreciation by liking Salah's Instagram post, which featured the Egyptian star performing Diogo Jota's shark celebration in the first image. Moreover, Nunez reshared a post from Liverpool's official account that highlighted a special mosaic tribute across the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand and the cop for Andre Silva and Jota. The tribute involved volunteers arranging placards that spelt out the players' initials and numbers, creating a stunning visual effect when held up by the fans. Liverpool's post, which Nunez shared on his Instagram story, was captioned with an impeccably observed period of silence for Diogo and Andre, and included a red heart emoji, a sentiment Nunez echoed by adding his own red heart emoji to his share of the post. He also showed his appreciation for a post from Alexis McAllister that honored Jota. "Nothing better than starting the Premier League with a home win," the caption stated. McAllister added, "The atmosphere at Anfield, without words. We will always remember you, Diogo." "Back home," starts the caption of the post, accompanied by a red heart emoji. "An emotional game, but we found a way to win." Speaking to BBC Sport after the game, Chiesa said, "The goal was a great moment for me, but my thoughts go to Diogo. I think for what we have seen, it was his day. The feeling the fans gave me, chanting his song all the way through the match, it was very emotional for me. I have to say that after the goal, my thoughts went to his family, his brother Andre. That's the only thing I could say." Giovanni Leone sends message to Virgil van Dijk after Liverpool transfer. New Liverpool signing Giovanni Leone is looking forward to playing alongside his hero, Virgil van Dijk, at Anfield after completing a $35 million, $26 million transfer. At the end of the week, Leone arrives as one of the most highly rated young center-backs in the world, and he is keen to learn from Van Dijk. Eventually, the plan might be for the teenager to replace the Dutchman in the starting 11, though there will be no pressure placed on him to play every week immediately. "I am very happy to meet him, to train with him, and to play with him. Leone told the Reds' official channels. "I followed him since I was a kid. He's been my role model, and I hope to learn lots from him. For me, he is the best defender in the world, and I want to meet him as soon as possible," Leone had told the club website on Friday. "His personality is fantastic when he plays. He is so comfortable with the ball and without the ball. He is a leader." Van Dijk penned a new contract at Liverpool that will tie him down until 2027, alongside Mohamed Salah. But by the time that deal comes to an end, Van Dijk will be a few weeks short of turning 36. It is therefore wise for Liverpool to be looking to the future. Ibrahima Konate is into the final 12 months of his contract too, while Joe Gomez spent a fair chunk of last season out injured, and Jarell Quansah has been sold to Bayer Leverkusen. "It's not possible to say no to this club," Leone said. "I'm so honored. I was very happy. When I saw the interest from Liverpool, I said, wow, this is crazy. I'm very happy. I want to improve a lot with my new teammates in training and after on the pitch in the Premier League and the Champions League." Arne Slot met Leone for the first time this weekend after the player watched Liverpool beat Bournemouth on Friday. The Italian will join his teammates for training this week ahead of the game with Newcastle United at St. James's Park in 8 days. He has a very high ceiling. That is so evident from how well he did under pressure at Parma last season under Christian Chivu when they were under the threat of relegation. They relied so much on their backline to get key points, and Leone was massive, both physically and performance-wise.
Thanks for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.